Hello everyone, my name is Math Genius Zach, and today I'm going to be providing a more in-depth overview of the origin creator by making an origin, while also explaining some common misconceptions with the tool. The main reason for making this video is because people apparently don't have the brain power to read this help page, and hopefully this video will help them instead. For those of you who don't know what the origin creator is, it is an online tool used for creating custom data packs for Minecraft in a more visual manner compared to typical data pack development methods. It also mainly supports the Origins mod. For the knuckleheads who want to ask questions about making origins, do not ask in my Discord. Ask instead in the original official Origins Discord server. You're much more likely to get a useful answer there unless you are having an issue specifically with my own tool. In that case, you're going to have a much better time asking in my server so I can fix the problem as soon as possible. Links are in the description below and also on the help page. There are some important things to note before we get started. First off, the origin creator auto-saves your work every time you make a change to some element on the page. For text boxes, they save when you just click off of them and click somewhere else on the page. Just be careful about clearing your browser cache, not your browsing history, your browser cache, which may delete all of your projects. There are buttons you can use to download and import individual projects to your computer where they cannot be lost as easily, so keep that in mind. Secondly, if you can't remember how exactly something should be implemented, don't be afraid to look it up on the official Minecraft or Origins wikis. Links are on the help page, specifically down below here. If you still can't figure something else out, ask in the official Origins Discord. Finally, the origin creator doesn't just have to be used to make origins. It's perfectly fine at making normal data packs as well, with custom recipes, loop tables, and functions with basic syntax highlighting. Though if you're well acquainted with functions, you may find it easier just to use a proper IDE. Now to get into the tool. The sidebar on the left displays the name of the current project, in addition to all of the files that you can click on and that are inside of your project. It also gives you access to quite a few different buttons. The buttons at the top allow you to switch between different project save slots, there's a total of 5, or swap back to the file that you last clicked on. Specifically, we haven't clicked on any files, so this page is just blank. There's also a button to go back to the help page. The buttons at the bottom let you add a root folder to the data pack. This can be anything. Or import a single file or an entire data pack. Download your entire data pack as a data pack or mod. Or reset your pack back to a basic state. Note that if you import your entire data pack, or just any data pack for that matter, it will be merged with your current working directory. And it'll mix all of the values in tags together and overwrite any files that you have that have the same name. Specifically, if you have, say, one file that is a loot table for the creeper and another data pack that is also imported on top of that has a loot table for the creeper, those two loot tables will not be merged. Only tags are merged. So if you want to work on a data pack from scratch, you'll have to reset your pack first. Otherwise, you might lose data. Speaking of reset, we'll have to reset our data pack to see some of the folders for ourselves. We could add the folders manually with the button in the bottom left down here, say item modifiers. This is required for item modifiers since it doesn't show up by default, but it's easier to just use the reset functionality down here. In the reset menu, you may specify a name. I'm going to say tutorial pack, as well as a version for whatever pack that you're working on. So I'm going to choose 1.18.2 since that's the version that we're going to work on. You can also choose a type for your data pack. In this case, we're working on an Origins data pack, so I'll pick that. Then I'll go ahead and click apply. The first thing to note is the meta file in the top left of the file tree. This isn't technically a file, it's more specifically your MC meta file, but it is how you change the name of your pack up at the top, or its icon that you see in the data packs page, or the MC meta version, or the default namespace. The most important thing here is the MC meta number down here, as the game won't load data packs with the wrong version number, even if it actually can load them, though it might load older version numbers. I'm not exactly sure about that. Specifically, you can click on the pack format label or simply hover over it on the left to see what number it should be for your version of Minecraft. We'll keep it at 9 for now, since that's what 1.18.2. That's what this number should be for that version of Minecraft. All right, so let's make an origin file. To make a file, simply right-click on any of the root folders. In this case, it's an origin, so we're going to right-click on the origins folder and click New File. We'll then give the file a name. We'll say My Origin, and press Enter in order to confirm that name. You can also make folders this way to organize your files. I say New Folder, Folder, and then put another thing inside, another origin. If you notice that your names go outside the bounds of this box, you can resize it with this thing down here in the bottom right. You can also do the same thing with any of these text boxes here. All origins require some information to be filled out. So in order to edit, we'll simply click on this file on the left here, and then we'll go ahead and fill out some of this information. If you're not sure what anything does, you can simply hover over its label on the left, check the wiki, or ask in the official Origins Discord. All right, so let's fill in the first two boxes. This is the name, we'll say My Origin, and the description. This origin was made with the origin creator. There we go. Now, we don't have any powers to give this origin yet, so we'll skip this box for now. We'll also give it an icon too through this little box down here. Now, this item field down here is specifically for a Minecraft item ID. You can Google what they are online. You can also give the icon MBT data down here, but we won't worry about that for now since it's a little more complicated. Let's also set the impact to 2, since this origin will be moderately impactful. These two are just cosmetic changes. Now, in order for origins to recognize our origin in-game, we'll need to add it to the root origin layer, which is in here, origins:origin. Now, I know it seems like there's a lot of stuff in this file, but the only thing we really have to pay attention to here is the origins box up at the top. We technically need to specify both the namespace of the file inside this box, but in the case of the file we just made, its namespace defaults to the same one as our pack, specifically this one up here in our meta file. So we could type out that namespace entirely, tutorial pack, and then followed by our file name, My Origin, but you notice that can get a little bit long and annoying. So instead, we can actually omit this since it's the same as our default namespace, and when we click off of this box, the webtool will fill in the namespace for us with this 0:. This is a special code that the webtool uses to know that it needs to replace this on export with whatever ID is inside of the meta file. All right, so that's pretty cool. We can also add multiple origins into here by putting them on separate lines. Say I had another origin here, we would do another origin. But there are some important things to note. If our origin is in a folder or subfolder, we also need to include the name of the folder that it is in as well. So we'll start with the namespace, followed by the folder name, followed by a slash. Say if there was another folder in here, we would put the next folder next to that, next folder, and then a slash. And finally, by the file name that's inside there. So you can see. Now, also, if there's a namespace, say in this case, the origins:origin, we can change the namespace here by replacing this 0. Say I made another origin with the namespace custom namespace. We could then put a colon and say third origin, resize that a bit. To refer to this specific origin file, we would say custom namespace folder / third origin. Now, in most cases, you won't have to worry about all this stuff, so we'll just simplify it down to our simple origin and go ahead and delete this folder, so we won't have to worry about it. Now, if we go ahead and export this, yes, this is all we need in order to make a basic origin. Let me just go ahead and export this and then put it into our game. That will be my datapacks folder of my saves. And we'll put this in here. If we go ahead and put this into our game and then reload the datapacks so that they all load up, I'm going to give it a couple seconds here just to make sure that the datapack properly loads. Then we go ahead to pick our origin. Let's see if we can find it. Oh, there it is. There you go. The Apple My Origin. This origin was made with the origin creator. Now, of course, if we see this specific file, it's kind of a little bit boring as it doesn't have any powers. So we select, it literally does nothing. We don't have any powers. So let's go add some. We'll start with a simple power, creative flight. So we need to head back over here and right click the powers folder, click new file, and we'll say my power. And then inside here, we have to start with some kind of type for the power. Let's start with something simple like creative flight. All right, so now we just need to give it a name and description. Light. I'm going to call it Fireflight for reasons in the future. This is, say, gives you the power to fly in certain situations. There we go. Okay, so now we have a specific power, but we have to link it with our origin that's on the left. So let's go ahead and click on that. Then we need to put the power namespace and ID in the same way that we specified it into the origin layer, into the origin file. In this case, the power shares the same namespace as our default namespace, so we can just type the name of the power like so, and it will autofill the namespace for us. Once again, remember that this 0 just means our default namespace, and this namespace is what this specific power is defaulting to. So this is just the same thing as omitting the namespace entirely. Let's remove that namespace now, since it kind of looks a little bit cluttered. So, okay, there we go. Now we'll go ahead and export this again. And I will replace my data pack with this new one. Place. And then we'll go ahead and reload again. Since I've already selected the origin, once everything's done loading, we should be able to creatively fly. Perhaps I need to pick the origin again. Go ahead and pick our origin. Oh, you can also see the power now in the origin file here. So we'll go ahead and pick that. And now you'll notice we get creative flight. And we can fly around as if we were in creative mode. Now, being able to fly 24/7 is a little bit overpowered. So to make this origin a little bit more interesting, we should only allow the power to be activated when a certain condition is true. That's what the condition field is for down here. To use a condition, we can expand this field simply by pressing the plus button. We can also remove the condition with the minus button. When there is no condition, the power is active all of the time. Side note, anytime you see a panel like this one, you can click on it to select it. You'll see the color changes specifically. You can also select on these tiny little panels here. And then you can use Control X, Control V, Control C in order to do cut, copy, paste respectively. And also you can press the delete key to quickly delete. You can also press delete on any of the files that you make over on the left if you have them selected. Now, inside this panel, the condition panel down here, we can specify a variety of different kinds of conditions that Origin supports. Let's say you can only fly if you're on fire. That would be cool. It also fits with our name up here. All right. So now we'll go ahead and export this file again. So we'll put that in our downloads folder, use it to replace our datapack on the right. Then we'll have to reload again, and it's likely that we'll have to choose our origin again if we don't get flight here. So I'm just going to go ahead and get myself another orb of origins. Where it's orb of origin. There we go. So now we'll go ahead and pick the, we can find it, my origin. We'll go ahead and pick this one again. You notice I can't fly right now, but if I step into the fire, I can now fly. That's pretty cool. Now, let's see. If we stop burning, then we'll fall out of the sky. So that's a pretty interesting thing, but that's only a single power. So let's go ahead and add another power to this origin. We followed the same process, adding a file inside of the powers folder here, and then linking it to the origins file. Let's say another power. And we'll open it up. Let's try a new power type. So let's see the stacking status effect. That's this one right here. Then we'll go ahead and set the minimum stacks to 0 and maximum stacks to 3. Then the duration per stacks to 100. This number is in ticks, and since there are 20 ticks in a second, this comes out to exactly 5 seconds. We'll also set the effective speed down here through this box. That would be Minecraft speed. And there we go. There is an option here to use multiple status effects. You can click on these plus buttons to add multiple different effects that happen at the same time. However, we won't worry about that right now. Let's also add a condition that requires us to be swimming in order for the effect to stack up. So that would be down here, origin swimming. Okay, and then we'll give the power a name. We'll say swim speed increases speed when wet. And this makes sense. You'll see for other reasons why even when you come out of the water, you're still a little bit wet, so you still get some speed. Oop, power's not here. Ah, that's right. I forgot to link it in my origin file. Notice, even if you make a specific power, you may still forget how to do something. I forgot how to do something, and I'm following a script. In this particular case, we still need to put the specific ID for this power inside of this origin. So we'll put its name in here. Another power. There's lots of people in the Origins Discord that can help you with discovering why you may or may not be able to see a power in game and maybe why it's not working. Just make sure to provide them with the proper information so they can help you properly. All right, so let's export this again and then follow the same process once again. Place. And then we'll go ahead and reload again. Just in case, I'll select my origin again once we wait some time. I'd say it's been around about enough. So let's go ahead and pick the origin again. There we go. There's our proper power. Then we'll go ahead and select this origin. And then you'll notice when we get into the water, it'll take some time, but let's think here. Perhaps maybe the origins swimming thing does not apply if you're in water, but rather it applies if you are actually swimming. There we go. So now you'll notice that as we swim, we gain some speed up on the right here, and it stacks up the longer that we swim. If we stop swimming, even if we are in water, the speed slowly drops down. So in this case, we can get out of the water, and we're still technically wet, so we get speed for a little bit longer. Now, of course, you should always be able to look up how each individual condition and power works. Otherwise, you might get a situation like me, where I think that swimming has to do with just being in the water and moving around. However, it doesn't. It has to do with swimming underwater. So in this case, you can once again ask the people in the Origins Discord, and they're more than happy to help you with whatever specific problems you have. Just make sure to give them the proper information that they need. So on your own, try changing the different power fields yourself to see what happens in game, or maybe give a power a different condition. Whatever you do, if something doesn't work, always ask in the Origins Discord, unless of course there's a bug. A lot of people are willing to help you in there, and I'm also willing to help you fix bugs. And that should just about do it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and are able to make some great Origins in the future. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.